How many of us use numbers every day? The answer should be all of us. From grocery shopping to knowing how much water we should add to a recipe. Since math is used every day, I would like to help make some of your math problems a little bit easier. So today I'd like to talk about prime and composite numbers. According to Dr. Ian on mathforum.org, prime and composite numbers will save you a large amount of time, possibly through the course of your lifetime, especially if you're going into a technical field. This knowledge of prime and composite numbers are relevant in today's and age because of their many uses. For example, prime numbers are used for passwords and for credit card encryption. So today I'm going to show you how to identify the difference between prime and composite numbers, explain how these numbers are important, and how to use this knowledge to your benefit. So now that you know what we're going to be discussing today, let's get down to business. First, let's talk about how to identify prime and composite numbers. I'm going to show you how to differentiate between the two. Prime numbers are numbers that are divisible by 1 in itself. So numbers like 1, 2, 3, and 5. So let's look at the number 2. The factors of 2 are 1 in itself. Numbers that are multiplied together are called factors. So for example, 2 times 3 equals 6. The factors of 6 are 2 and 3. 2 is the only even prime number. Composite numbers are numbers that have multiple factors, so numbers like 4, 6, 8, and 9. There are a few ways to find out factors of certain numbers, but today I'm going to show you how to use the factor tree. So I chose the number 12. So we have 6 times 2 is 12, and 3 times 2 is 6. We also have 3 times 4 is 12, and 2 times 2 is 4. So you can see at the top of the tree, we start with the number, and then we work our way down to the bottom of the tree. The bottom of the tree you end with prime numbers. So once you have ended in prime numbers, you know you are finished with your factor tree. Learning how to identify prime and composite numbers will save you time in the long run. Now that you know how to identify prime and composite numbers, I want to explain why they are important. Prime and composite numbers are important in many different ways. They can help you in math by easily reducing fractions, or knowing if a number is divisible by another number, or will have a remainder. So what is all the fuss about prime and composite numbers? Mathisfun.com explains it like this. Composite numbers can be broken down into prime number factors. Prime numbers are the base blocks of all numbers, and the composite numbers are made up of all those prime numbers multiplied together. Knowing if a number is prime or composite can also help you with division. So for example, the number 17. If you know that the number 17 is a prime number, you know that only 1 in itself can be divisible and divide into it evenly. This knowledge also can help you with fractions, particularly finding the common denominator. It will also help you factor polynomials. The bottom line is that it will save you time when you are working out math problems, even up until college. So now that we have talked about how to identify prime and composite numbers and why they are important, let's go to my next point, which is how to use this knowledge to your advantage. Sometimes we need to easily sort through numbers and find one certain number. So it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You can go through the haystack and it will take you a really long time to find that needle. Or you can get a really large magnet and find that needle instantly. So prime numbers are like a really large magnet. Prime numbers are good for quickly sorting through zillions of possible outcomes and narrowing it down to a handful of possibilities. There are also many puzzles that can be solved more easily when breaking down composite numbers into prime numbers. So if you know how to use prime and composite numbers, it will save you time and headache in many different mathematical situations. So now let's wrap this all up. So today I've discussed how to identify prime and composite numbers, why they are important, and how to use them. So I hope this information can be applied to your life and free up some of your precious time. Because if you're anything like me, I want to spend the least amount of time in the grocery store, especially if I have my kids with me. And if you know more about numbers and how to use them, that could be a possibility.